Let us turn to Leviticus chapter 23, verse 27. And as he's turning to Leviticus chapter 23, verse 27, I want us to reflect back on what was said before concerning your connection with Yud and Day of Atonement. Connect back with your connection on how you are to be in the same identical format. When you say you are at one with Yud He Wav He. When you are at one with Yud He Wav He, you are similar. You are carrying the same action, the same thoughts, the same belief. Yes, Yahweh. Okay, Leviticus chapter 23. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 27.
Also in the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls, an offering made by fire unto the Lord Jehovah.
Praise Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh.
So, in this 7th month, on this 10th day, we should be offering something to Yud He Wav He. And not only should we be offering something to Yud He Wav He, we should also be begging and pleading Yud He Wav He for something. But it's not going to work. You ever had a child beg, and don't mean it? Have you ever heard of a child that begs, and doesn't really know what he or she is begging for? It's just because they want it, but they have no understanding of why they really want it and if they really need it. And at the same time, a child will beg, and adults will beg for something and still turn around and do the same exact thing over and over and over again. And it gets tiresome and tiresome and tiresome. But Yahweh just, he keeps showing us a spirit that he has, that where he just keeps allowing us the opportunity to beg him, to ask him for something when we have no idea what it is that we really want it for. It's just because we want it. We think we need it for a certain purpose. So, Leviticus chapter 23, verse 27 dealt with us keeping Day of Atonement, afflicting our souls, and offering something to Yud He Wav He. So here it is. Yahweh says this is what we are to do, and we seek to do it every Day of Atonement. Every Day of Atonement, we do all of this, but for some reason, he made it to where it's annual. It happens every year. Obviously, we don't get the point, and Yahweh knows that we need Day of Atonement to come back again so that we can get one more shot at it, and get one more shot at it, and get one more shot at it, year after year after year. Yes. But you can stop the process. Let me say that really clear for you. You can stop the process of the Day of Atonement coming year after year after year to you. How many know how? Raise your hand. How many know how? You know how? Really? Praise Yahweh. Anybody else? You know how? I know how. And the best way to get this process going is to let us turn to 2 Chronicles chapter 7 verse 14. We got 2 Chronicles 7:14?
Yes.
All right, let us read.
If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, and will forgive their sins, and will heal their land.
Now, it's 4 steps in there that have to take place. 4 steps that have to take place in order for this process to come to an end. 4 steps have to take place in order for Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh to even begin to do what? Hear from heaven and forgive your sins and do what?
Heal your land.
And heal your land. But you have to do 4 steps first. Those 4 steps can bring an end to Day of Atonement. And the powerful thing about it is you must do something first. And the first thing is so powerful. The first thing is very, very powerful. You must humble yourself. And you may ask, well, how am I going to humble myself? How am I going to humble myself? Has there ever been a way that I've been taught to humble myself by Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh? Have you ever showed me as my parent a way to humble myself from Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh? Has he ever showed you in his law a way for me to humble myself? Not what everybody else taught me a way to humble myself, but a way from him that I can humble myself. How many got that answer? Raise your hand. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 2. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 2. See, this is a way that Yahweh humbled us. And I'm pretty sure you don't want to go back through this way to learn how to humble. I know you don't want to go back through Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 2 to learn how to be humble all over again. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 2. Read.
And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God, Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh, led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee, and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no.
For 40 years, Yahweh made us wander through the wilderness. As I sit before you in my stage of 40, I wandered through the wilderness for 40 years. And this is why I am able to talk to you and bring to you the knowledge that I offer from Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh at this moment in this day. Because I remember how Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh brought me through the wilderness for 40 years. These 40 years. I mean, how ironic is that? That I am sitting before you in my 40th year. We are in Day of Atonement. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 2. It's telling you how Yahweh humbled us for 40 years in the wilderness, and we ought to remember it. I know I do not want to repeat that 40 years all over again so I can be humbled again at this point. No. It's a better way. It's a much better way. Do you know that better way? I have to ask you every time, do you know a way? Or do you have the answer? Because if you have the answer, then it's no need for me to really say it. It really is no need for this class to be taking place. Because that means you already have the answer, you already doing it, you already been acting on it, and the whole world is being filled with your voice. Is that so? Yeah. So I'm on it. I'm on it. Let's turn to Matthew chapter 18, verse 4. Now this is the way that I would love to remember how to be humble. This is the way that I would love to go through and be humble, because it don't take that long. From birth, as this point in the scriptures, you already come with this type of energy. You already come with this type of mindset. Matthew chapter 18, verse 4. Let us read.
Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven.
Now look, a child is already humble. This is why Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh, Beit Sophie Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh, uses a child in the scriptures all the time about how to come to him, how he wants you to be. Why? Because a child is always eager to know. They don't come acting like they know everything. They don't come acting like they can teach you anything until they get older. But this child mentality is always eager to know, not act like they know. So when Yahweh is saying you must humble yourself, he's telling you he wants you to come back to your child state and begin to want to know. Because you only sin when you think you know already. And you start making decisions and messing up. And doing things that you know you shouldn't do. You know you have no business doing. How many see a child before they do something, they question it, they scared of it, they nervous, they watching it? Babies, even, as before they get ready to even walk, they nervous about walking. They scared, they want to be sure that's what they are supposed to do. And they watching you to see if it's all right. And when they start to do what they're doing and they see that you don't have a problem with it, then they keep on at it. So you must humble yourself as this little child. This little child. Take on this child mentality of wanting to know. Wanting to always be in the know of what you know. The Creator, yourself, your higher self knows. See, because this is the first step that Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh wants you to do. Is be knowledgeable. You have to drop back down as a child and want to know. Who can give me a definition of humble? I need the definition of humble. So that we know how it is that a child really acts. Humble.
Humble, not proud or arrogant.
Look at that. When you humble, you're not proud or arrogant. You ever seen some people be just proud of themselves and really arrogant? We watched a video the other day where an actor was very proud, and he was so proud and arrogant that about him looking so good that when he went to put his foot on the chair, it slipped. He fell down, hit his face, and fell on the ground. You can be confident, but don't be too confident. Sometimes you end up hurting yourself when you do things like that. Praise Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh.
Humble.
Humble, modest, having a feeling of insignificance, inferiority, subservience, etc. Low in rank, importance, status, quality, etc.
So why would Yahweh want you to feel low in rank when all he teaches you to be is at a high mind? Why is that the first thing he wants you to do is be humble, which tells you that you need to be low in rank and become like you are bowing to somebody, up under somebody. Or up under something. That's the question. Why? Why would he want you like that? Humble.
Humble, courteously respectful.
Uh-oh. Because it's going to make you what? It's going to make you what?
Courteously respectful.
It's going to make you respectful. When you are in a humbled state, you are more respectful. And I see it from a child through its ones through, I say about 6 in this day and time. And I can't even go that far. I got to go a little bit down, probably 1 to 4. Because the children today are not respectful unless they've been touched by Yahweh and Yahweh's teaching has been given to them, and they are actually being disciplined to act it out, actually give it an appearance so that people can see it within them. So I say from 1 to maybe 4, there's a certain respect. And from 4 and up, the disrespect is just there. Because the children today are not being taught to be humble. So you can see why Yahweh is not hearing them. They think that they need to be heard over everybody else. But see, they're getting that teaching from their parents who are rebellious against Yahweh, and they felt they needed to be heard. You ever had a child that want to keep explaining something to the parent when the parent told them to do something? Yeah, that child is one that's not humble. Because that child does not know how to just shut his or her mouth, listen to what the parent says, and just do it. Had that boy Mike Brown did exactly what the officer said, I don't care how the officer said it to him. Had he did what the officer said to him, he would be alive today. Because he would have just got out the street. The street is not made for walking. The street is made for cars to be in it to travel down the road. That's what sidewalks are for. That's what sidewalks are for. Am I in agreement with the officer? No. Am I in agreement with Mike Brown? No. I'm not in agreement with either or. I'm in agreement with what is right. And I know from what the person said that the officer told them in a harsh way or whatever way to get out of the street. They should have just said, yes, sir, and moved their way out of the street. Yahweh said you can always smooth a situation over with honey. You can be sweet to a person and the whole mode to change. Do you think the young man said, yes, sir, officer, we're on it right now. We're going to step out the street?
No.
Or do you think that, like the boy was saying, we only got a few more minutes to get to where we're going? Or even if he said that, it don't matter. Do you think he said that respectfully? You have to humble yourself. People getting online, Facebook, all types of video, they getting pulled over and running their mouth to the police officers instead of just doing what they're supposed to do. Stop acting like you got a law degree. You don't. Stop acting like you're a lawyer and you stand in court and battle every single day. Every time the officer comes to you, he asks for your ID, your license and registration. Just give him your license and registration. Praise Yahweh. Every video that I see, when an officer comes up and talks to them, I don't see anyone just giving their information like the officer asked them. Immediately, the person automatically tries to play like they're a lawyer. What am I being pulled over for, officer? You can ask them that while you're giving them your identification. And I'm pretty sure he'll conversate with you as you're giving him respectfully your identification. He'll conversate with you as long as you are humble, depending on what he actually pulled you over for, because you can be pulled over for doing something really crazy. If you did something crazy, then he's not going to come humble. And no matter what you say or do, he's not going to try to be humble about it because you were in violation from the beginning. Now, if it can be looked at as a simple mistake, then that's different. I'm not saying all situations are like that and all situations can be handled like that. But it's always a way to look back and see that it could have been avoided. Whatever situation, it could have been avoided. Like the video with the young man that just got shot by the police officer when he was standing outside of his car. The police told him, he got out the car and told him, put your hands where I see you, or whatever he said. Let me see your identification. So the dude turned and started to reach for his stuff. He should have kept his hands up. He should have put his hands up. Oh, he didn't even put them up. He should have put his hands up and said, officer, is it okay if I reach for my identification that you're asking for? You don't just start reaching. The cop is already nervous. He's already paranoid because why? I've seen other videos to where the officers are shot at by real thugs, real villains, real people who have an evil heart to just get out and they're up to wickedness and doing slick stuff, and they make it bad for the good people who are being pulled over and have no clue. So let's go back to step one, which is to humble yourself. Humble yourself. Be respectful. Humble.
Humble. Low in height, level, etc. Small in size. To lower in condition.
Hold it. You know I can't let that just pass. You know I can't just let that pass. Read that again.
Low in height, level, etc. Small in size.
Small in size. So when you become humble, you become small in size. You have an appearance of something small. You see why I'm so happy about being humble? Because you know where it's going, right? It's turning right back into Yud again. Here we go. That first point. See, in order for Yahweh to hear you, you must return back to the small point. You must start all over again in order for Yahweh to hear from heaven, to begin to hear from heaven and forgive your sins. See, he can't even forgive your sins on Day of Atonement if you do not return back to the first point, the small in size, appearance, situation. Yud. Yud is so respectful. Yes. Yud is very respectful. Humble.
Humble. To lower in condition, importance, or dignity. Abase. To destroy the independence, power, or will of.
Look, why do you have to do all of this stuff like this? Because when you come back to this small point, when you come back, this small point is going to teach you how all of that stuff, that big situation you was in, was not important at all. It's going to teach you how all of what you thought was important really wasn't important. It's going to teach you how you worked so hard and thought you knew so much, when in actuality it was getting you in serious trouble. It was bringing great trouble to you. So you have to start all over again, step one, and be retaught all over again how you should have done it. And I'm here to teach you how you should have done it and how you shall do it. And if you ain't going to get it, come back and I'll be ready to do it again. Yes, Yahweh.